you back Keir Starmer's immigration crackdown? So there's quite a big thing going on here from number 10. 020 7862 2222 is the number. Prime Minister vowed this morning to tighten up legal migration with tough new rules. The whole load of them, we counted about 9, including making people wait 10 years before they can apply for citizenship and the end of overseas recruitment in care homes. He said numbers needed to fall significantly from the record levels of recent years, and he promised he would do just that by the end of this Parliament. And let's have a listen to a bit more from him.
Today we publish a white paper on immigration, a strategy absolutely central to my plan for change, that will finally take back control of our borders and close the book on a squalid chapter for our politics, our economy and our country. This plan means migration will fall. That's a promise. But I want to be very clear on this. If we do need to take further steps, if we do need to do more to release pressure on housing and our public services, then mark my words, we will.
Net migration, which is the number of people who came to the UK minus the number who left, stood close to 1 million in the year to June 2023, and it was at 782,000 last summer. Home Secretary Yvette Cooper said radical changes set to be unveiled today would see 50,000 fewer visas issued this year alone. The Tories say that's not enough, and their plan, Labour's plan, is laughable. Meanwhile, Nigel Farage accused the government of merely tinkering around the edges. Charlie, what do you think?
Well, look, I think it's a step in the right direction on the back of the local elections where a Reform, still a very new party, seemed to have a bit of a clean sweep. It's a public sentiment. For far too long, political parties in power, Conservative Party over the last 14 years, Labour Party before that, haven't tackled immigration properly. I don't think the public have clearly fed up with that, and that's why Reform have been able to surge on that particular issue. They've broadened, they're talking about other issues, but that is primarily what Nigel Farage has built his career and his political outlook on. Just listening to that clip, what the Prime Minister's talking about in terms of going further and faster, taking back control of your borders. He said it's a promise. He said it's relieving pressure on housing, public services. That's all very well, but that speaks to, I think, in terms of the British people, illegal immigration. People are concerned about the pressures on housing and their public services when people come into the country illegally and seem to be getting all the benefits or seem to be getting the top of the housing priority list. That isn't speaking to legal migration. So I think there's a real issue there already. Obviously, it's right to deport foreign criminals. I think that's right, and you could be harder on that. Yeah. But if it was so easy, why hasn't it been done before?
So it's odd, isn't it? Because the one thing they can affect is legal, as Charlie says. But it's also not the bit that concerns people most.
No. So this immigration crackdown, while there are some good parts, like deporting serious, violent foreign nationals, fine, that makes sense. But so much of this is Labour just barking up the wrong tree. You cannot out-reform reform. And if you continue to go down this road, all you're going to do is lose votes and alienate potential Labour voters, right?
Are you sure they can't? I'm just, sorry to interrupt. I'm just thinking, in 2015, Cameron had the barking, if you like, of UKIP, and they were really caught. They got some Tory seats, and he said, OK, I'll tell you what, we will have, in 2016, a referendum on whether we actually want to be in the EU. And that was the end of UKIP, basically. So there is a way of cutting Nigel Farage off at the corner, isn't there? You can actually outflank him, and that's what they're trying to do.
This is not the approach. And also, I think, arbitrarily reducing immigration just so you can then publish some results is not going to have the desired effect. We all need to have an honest conversation about the fact that we have a declining birth rate, we have an ageing population. We either have immigrants, we have immigration, and we have a functioning NHS, social care, and growth in the economy, or we don't. If Labour really want to win votes, right, what they should be doing is focusing on two big things. Because a lot of people are quite happy with immigration. They don't mind foreign doctors or nurses. They don't mind if people can speak English to GCSE or A-level. What they don't want to see is hotels being filled with immigrants for an indefinite period of time at great cost to the taxpayer. What they also don't want to see is the boats coming over, although they are in smaller numbers.
But that may not be affected by this.
But this is where Labour needs to be really clear and go after things that are real bugbears. Not having, and I can't believe they're making it more difficult for the social care sector to hire people.
But I suppose
we have got 131,000 vacancies.
Sure. Let's ask Ray in Nottingham what you think. Ray?
I agree with the young lady. We need these workers. They don't. What Keir Starmer is looking at is importing into the country highly paid professional people. We need ground people on the ground. Mm-hmm. I've got friends in care homes with serious dementia. There's not enough staff now to cope with them.
No, I know.
I agree with immigration cutback, but there's hundreds of thousands flying in on aeroplanes, being put up in hotels. Why are we even allowing them through the border?
Well, I think that's more the boat end of things, isn't it?
Well, that's only about 5% of the situation. The main thing is people are coming in on aeroplanes, hundreds of thousands of them, and we're just sticking them in hotels. We don't need these people. We need people who are going to go to work, whatever the job is, going to work and committing to the country, paying taxes.
OK. All right, Ray, thank you very much indeed. After the break, we're taking more of your calls on whether you back Keir Starmer's immigration crackdown. Or is he missing something? Is he missing something with the small boats or asylum or whatever? He said this morning he will take back control of the borders with tough new rules on legal migration. We have heard that before, haven't we? 0207 862 2222. Let's take your calls now on whether you back Keir Starmer's immigration crackdown. 0207 862 2222 is the number. So I'll show you now what they're expected to do. And at the centre of this is Yvette Cooper, who is the Home Secretary now. And it's about her really changing the way she appears and getting pretty fierce here. Let's just have a look, Yvette, going a bit Incredible Hulk on us, right? Because she's got a whole load of stuff I'll show you here. Let's just have a look at the monitor with the policies in here. Skilled foreign workers must have a degree. That's the first thing. There's 9 of them. Care homes to be stopped from recruiting abroad. OK, that's tricky. All foreign criminals considered for deportation, hard to argue against that. Then people will have to speak better English if they arrive from another country. Don't know how they're going to examine that. Make it harder for judges to block deportation. That's about the Human Rights Act. 10 years before migrants can apply for UK citizenship, as I've mentioned. Lower skilled workers can't stay indefinitely. And there's at least 1 or 2 more. Bosses must train British workers. And what's the last one? Oh, yeah, foreign graduates can't stay unless they get a skill job. So she's gone Incredible Hulk here, and we know why. The reason is down to these 3 fingers. Well, say 3. It was actually 6. That's how many votes he won Runcorn by. And Labour are really worried about this, so she's got her game face on. So it's changed. You can see, as Marina says, Labour are trying to out-Farage. And I don't know whether they can ever do it. Shirley in Hampshire, do you think that they can go Incredible Hulk on us like this?
My point is, I think the employers in this country are getting away with murder. They're trying to employ people and not pay them enough money to actually survive. If they stop all the people coming in, these employers are going to have to pay people a fair wage so that they can live somewhere and they can eat properly.
Yeah, but all employers want are good workers. And I'm afraid so many British...
All employers want is a profit.
Yep, that's why they want good workers. And there are so many British employers who say they don't employ British people because for some reason we can't hear alarm clocks. It's as simple as that.
No, it's not. It's not fair because why would you get up when you can get just as much on the dole?
Well, you raise a very good question. Marina?
Okay, so there is something to this, right? So my mum and dad came over from Sicily as immigrants, and my dad took any job he could. He worked like every hour he could. He worked at a hospital night porter. He was a gardener. He was a waiter at the Ritz and Claridge's and worked around the clock. My mum was a dinner lady and worked in the canteen of a hospital. And they both have a view that they were able to take these jobs and they just took them. And there wasn't a demand or a desire from British people to take these jobs. So immigrants fill these jobs.
Yeah.
So I feel like we have to acknowledge that. And this is like every large economy will
America's the same.
Well, absolutely. Yeah. And we rely on those people to do those jobs.
Yeah. OK, Shirley, thank you. Duncan in West Yorkshire. Is Labour doing the right thing here, getting tough on it?
Yeah, Labour don't need to get tough on it. And this is a horrible situation that he's put himself into. It's Keir Starmer.
Why is it horrible? He's trying to do what he thinks people want. That's his job.
Yeah, but I don't want this. and I'm a Labour supporter.
You're what, sorry?
And I don't want it. We're a nation of immigrants, and we love people.
Right.
Can I add?
I mean, yeah, I love people as well, but you know, we can't have 180 million people in this country.
Can I just add one thing? Right.
can.
So imagine this. So my question to Keir Starmer is this: let's say you manage to get immigration down to 200,000, right, a fraction of what it was before. If you haven't solved the two problems that people have got issue with, which is boats and hotels filled with immigrants, it does not matter one
So right.
jot.
I think that the politics of that is bang on. I think you're right. And that's not solved by today's announcements. No. Yeah. They will be able to have what they will call better figures. Duncan, sorry, before I let you go, we all love people. That suggests we don't need any rules about migration at all.
No, it's like, no, we're a nation of immigrants, and we've all been improved by people that come over to this country.
OK, thank you. Lane in North Yorkshire, hi. Hey, Lane, hi.
Good
Sorry.
morning, everybody.
Yeah. Morning.
My wife's a care worker, and she's born and bred. She's an English care worker, and I think this will benefit the British care workers in the UK because they are underpaid, and I think bringing in immigrants or foreign workers is great, but at the same time it undervalues the British care sector in low paid and it's a very, very hard job.
Yeah, it's just whether you then end up, if you've got fewer workers, it becomes inflationary. Councils won't pay the money. Care is already expensive.
So maybe that's a problem that the government and the council need to more funding for the care sector in that way, because some care homes can't survive because of this. But at the same time, British workers are being paid less than supermarket workers, for instance, and it doesn't weigh up really.
No, OK, Lane, thank you. I suddenly had this thought that we're going to end up going with robots and care homes, aren't we? With the AI and all that, we will have all the caring bits of it, which is sitting next to somebody and talking to them for an hour because they're lonely, will be done by robots.
Oh, God.
Well,
it will.
There's an element of that could be an advance because there are lots of people who are in an ageing population. If you become single, then obviously loneliness is a part. But in care homes in particular, I mean, it's an absolute travesty. I mean, no government has been able to fix it. And I think, look, this is the problem. All the calls so far have been right because, British wages have been, also wages for care workers or people that have come into the country legally through migration, who've gone into the care home sector or construction or hospitality. Those wages have been undercut because profiteers want to make a profit. That's absolutely true. But I think it's also true that actually there has been a European workforce that is prepared to work harder than some British people. So that's why there's been that drive. But in care homes specifically, I think you need to maintain those people. You can continue if you're already here on a care home visa. That's going to be extended if you're already here. But getting new people in is going to be difficult. Okay. But this is one of the areas where I think, just very quickly, I think the government has to be clear about who it wants into the country, and it should be protecting the care sector, not putting people off.
Brian in Newport, hi.
Hello.
Hey.
Yeah, I think it's Starmer. It's all flannel because it's just the game in front of the papers, game in front of on the TV, banging on about this stuff. Yet one of his other things were the NHS. Now, he said he's plowed all this money into there, yet on the BBC News the other day, they were saying NHS staff are going to have to be let go. They're going to stop services like diabetes clinics for the young because they've got to balance the books. Yep. Now, Starmer can't do anything. All he is, he wants to be in front of people, look at me, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But when you really look back at it, like I say with the NHS, the NHS now are letting go of frontline clinical staff.
No, I hear you, Brian. Thank you. And I don't want to range too much into the NHS, but you're right. That's connected for sure. After the break, we'll take more calls on whether you back Starmer's immigration crackdown. He said migrants will have to earn their place in the UK. He's basically going to make it less attractive for people. Now, your calls on whether you back Keir Starmer's immigration crackdown. The Prime Minister has said it should be a privilege to live in the UK, not a right. But are his new rules on legal migration too tough? 0207 862 2222 is the number. James in Swansea is there. Hi, James.
Good morning, Jeremy.
Morning.
I think it's a total knee-jerk reaction from the government.
And a knee-jerk in response to what? Was it the Runcorn by-election, which I mentioned?
Yes, I think
Farage.
so. I mean, if you look at something like the care homes where my late mother was, there were a vast number of immigrants working there who worked really hard and gave her excellent care. Now, if we just stop them coming over and to fill them with British jobs, as they say, then they will be paying them more. Care home fees will go absolutely through the roof.
Yep.
And people aren't prepared for that.
No, I think this must be inflationary. I can't see any other way. Charlie, do you think it's inflationary or not? You've got Labour not working, not Labour Party, but you've got people who can work not working. So there's slack in the system.
Yeah, totally. You should be able to train people in this country to go into well, you want to make it attractive to go into care. It can be, I think, no greater privilege than caring for someone, actually.
Why are you working in care then?
Well, because, funny, my nan is in a care home and I visit regularly. I'm not qualified to go into care.
But I mean, you could, if you think it's the best job in the world, you could go and work in it.
Well, I think it's a privilege to go and care for someone. I'm not qualified. It's not a skill set that I think that I have that I would be particularly good at. I don't think people would want me to care for them necessarily, but I think it is a privilege, and I think it's for people that do it. I think are absolute heroes. So I think that's the problem that people.
But I don't know if people go into it as a vocation, as you describe, or whether they go into it because they need a job. I don't know. And you're right. You can go into a care home and you see people, you just think you are magical the way you deal, and then other people are just doing it because they need to work.
Well, but it's those people that shouldn't be doing it. And the amount of abuse that you see in care homes is the reason why you need people that do actually want to go into the care home sector. And if they are from another country, they should be coming into the UK to do that job. I think that's the problem that we've got here. I don't mind actually having a cap on the numbers of people that come into the country, depending on the sector. I don't mind being tougher on immigration, but I think this is the whole problem with this particular package. The Labour government seem to have targeted, I think, and made a huge misstep as to the right people or for the right jobs that are coming into the UK. The care sector should be one of those where you should be welcoming people that can do that job, that want to do that job, and that can do it well.
Thank you, James in Swansea. Appreciate your call, James. Shelley in Newcastle, hi.
Hi, there's a couple of things I was going to say, but you're on about care homes. I've seen a programme, they need to sort visas out because these people were paying thousands for a visa to come to work in a care home. And when they come to this country, there was no job at all. It was a false thing. So I think visas need to be sorted for the care home. I used to work in care homes. It's a very hard job when you have to wipe people's bums. Look, they need paying a lot more, like nurse-style pay, because of what the job they do. It's a very hard job. Anyway, I was going to say, I don't believe a word Keir Starmer says. He likes to be in front of the camera. The latest lie was, there was actually a question asked about the youth mobility with Europe. Numerous occasions he said we weren't going to do that, and it looks like they're going to do that. Now, that will add to the migration numbers.
Oh, interesting. I don't know. Would young European people want to work in care homes here? I don't know.
Yeah, well, we've got 28 countries coming here compared to our one little country. So that's going to bump it up even more, and we've got nowhere to live to start with in this country.
They could go to other places as well. But Marina.
But surely that also allows our young people to go and work abroad and go across to the EU and wherever they want to work and do, like, I don't know, work in resorts or what have you. But also they come across. And
28 countries.
Yeah, and there's a reason why we need them as well. If you look to some of our sectors like hospitality, where we do recruit these people, they're on their knees, and it is, like you say, inflationary. So this is why. If we go out to eat, you go out to drink, whatever, it's all going up because they're going to have to pay higher prices to recruit British people, and we don't have the workforce.
All I know, Shelley, is that the news I've heard is that care homes are saying we find it really hard to recruit. We have adverts in the paper or whatever it's called now every single week, and we just can't get the staff we need. Thank you. Paul in West Yorkshire, hi.
Hi, good morning.
It's funny, Paul, isn't it, that this whole conversation, the Starmer announcement, has gone to care homes. That's exactly where people are starting to think, ooh, this might have some really unintended consequences.
Yeah, absolutely. I personally work in a mental health care home. I'm not on the care staff, I'm on the maintenance staff. But I've seen over the last 2 years that the company have brought in overseas staff. And, for instance, one member of staff is a physiotherapist, another one's been a cook, another one's been... They're not actually being trained up. They're being brought in and trained up. Now, my thing on it, I've been wanting to actually get on your programme and say this for a long, long time.
Oh, good.
But Labour, in I believe it was 1999, brought in minimum wage. They never set out what would happen in the future with that. So you've now got to a point where it's £12.21, I believe it is.
Okay.
It's caught up with people who are semi-skilled.
Okay, Paul, I have to leave it there because we've got to go to our break at this point, but I do hear what you're saying about that.